Hey everyone, before we get underway today, we just need to acknowledge the terrible tragedy that happened last week in Christchurch.
We want to extend our condolences to the friends and family of those who were tragically taken, and also share our love and strength with the people of New Zealand, and to pay our respects to all the first responders and those who survived, who'll be carrying on, this pain for years to come. We want to pay our respects to all the friends and family, the survivors, the first responders, and send our love and strength to all the people of New Zealand who are in mourning right now, and also acknowledge the strength of their awesome leader, Jacinda Ardern, during this time, who just shows what real leadership should be.
Kia ora, my name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and it's New Zealand Bake Off.
Kiwi Bake Off is what they're calling it.
Kiwi Bake Off, yes. So,
we are taken to what looks like it could be the Bachelor Mansion, and we're shown through it by the delightful host. I only picked up one of their names though, Madeline.
It's Madeline and Haley. So
okay, and Haley. There we go.
I know I've seen Madeline before in a few things. Leah's a big fan of her. The only thing I've really seen Madeline in is Outrageous Fortune, which I love, which is one of my favourite Kiwi shows of all time. Haley. Sorry, don't know much about her. Don't know much about the Bakers either. They don't seem to have a social media presence of this show at all.
No, there's not even a Wikipedia. I think
they're a shell company.
They're just a front for the Casketeers.
I got to be. And by the way, if you haven't watched the Casketeers, people, go
ahead into it.
So I think this is a front.
It is, but what a beautiful front when we're taken to the glorious Bake Off Cabana.
The Kelleher estate is the home of the Cabana.
Yes.
We are calling it the Cabana.
At the Bake Off
Cabana. So
fondant and icing,
and not all the challenges at the Cabana.
Yes, that's right.
What the fuck? Because you see, there's 21 challenges in 10 weeks. So if you do the maths on that, we're not going to have 3 bakes a week. We're going to have this 2-bake thing. What seems to be the go is they're rotating
the technical and the signature.
Well, no. Well, next week's a technical and a signature. It's no showstopper.
What?
That's what they said.
Oh my god!
How do you not do a showstopper?
Oh my god!
I'm thoroughly look. Okay, we're going to talk about what is a brand new version of this show. It is clearly in its early formation, its early gestation period, as you will, and we've got thoughts. As you may expect, I'm possibly going to be a little bit more cutting on some of my thoughts. I'm not as
I really
measured.
don't want to be, because there's some beautiful bakers in there.
There's also some people who I feel like got their cakes off the mum's blog.
We've got to start
Unicorn
somewhere.
cake, I'm looking at you. All right, so our lovely judges are Sue Fleischl and Dean Breschneider.
And
whoever you are.
Yeah, Melanie refers to them as what? Fleischl
Schneider.
Fleischl Schneider.
It's not happening. It's not a thing. Don't pretend it's a thing.
Although Sue and Dean really does sound like an
ice dancing couple.
An ice dancing couple, because I think of
Torval and Dean's main competitors.
Yes.
Actually, it sounds like what would have happened with if Sue Perkins had gone on ice skating with the stars.
Yes.
Like Ben had Dean for a partner, had Christopher Dean for a partner. It would have been brilliant.
Better than Dean Kane. He'd just be there spouting Republican
nonsense. Anyway, this show is interesting in many, many, many ways. First of all, what do you think about the colour scheme of the Cabana?
It's a little bit brighter. It's got a bit more poppy, like a bit more, I want to say, like neon-ness to it. Like, it's still pastel, but there's a bit of neon pop.
It kind of explains to me why the judges talk so often about colours.
They're really fixated with colours.
I don't actually know if this is a cake show. I'm starting to think this is just about colour judging.
And I really don't think it's appropriate in the current, era to be like bagging out brown on brown action.
To badly judging brown on brown action.
Yeah.
All right. So Dean begins, the first challenge is 24 cupcakes, at which point I swore. Because we've got feelings about cupcakes. Well, I've got feelings about cupcakes.
But it's a new show. They need to go with something simple that's also going to be effective when you see it.
Now, they had to make 24 cupcakes. Dean is there obviously for the intelligence and his background in baking.
And he's baked himself all over the world.
He has baked himself all over the world, and what you found was some great advice. And what Dean said was, every oven is different. Oh. Thanks, Dean.
Just, treat your oven as an individual. They're not homogen ovens.
And
the individual ovens.
And the opening montage of all these bakers off baking their cupcakes was nobody knowing how to turn an oven on.
Don't box me in, man. I'm an oven.
No.
Don't tell me how to bake. If I want to be 150 degrees and you got me at 200...
So be it.
So be it.
So, no, we're not making bakewells beforehand. We're not making a sponge.
It's not Genoese.
There's no Genoese. No, we're not doing a sponge beforehand. You can just guess it. You know what?
Fast and loose in the fucking Cabana.
I can't wait for them to do pies because I know they're doing pies at some point.
Yeah.
I hope they have the cop from Police 10-7 in. Always blow on the pie. Safer communities together. Always blow on the pie. You're going to get a lot of Police 10-7 references in this whole series, people. So just prepare yourselves.
Yeah.
If you've never seen the delight that is Police 10-7, what are you waiting for? Fox 8. Get onto Fox 8 just about right now. By the time we finish this podcast, it's usually there's a double episode. It's fantastic, especially when the drunks come out to play. So, beer was mentioned early. Speaking of drunks, I can't remember who because names are interesting. Now, I've got a pretty good grasp of the names. Do you remember anyone's name?
There was a Larissa.
There was a Larissa. She didn't explain it all because she's not Clarissa.
No.
But, close enough.
I'm thinking there's a Jenny.
There was a Jenny. Well, no, there was a Jenny. And notice how he said was a Jenny. We'll come back to that. Who's the blue-haired woman?
Stacey.
Well done. You got Stacey right. So let's begin with Stacey. Now,
Yep.
Stacey has the cupcake dress and hair, which has hair and matching piercings. So she matched her blue piercings to her blue hair.
Yeah, and she also needed to just get a little bit of cigarette ash before she got on stage or into the Cabana because there was just a little bit of extra blue. She was going a little Smurfy.
She was a little bit Smurf-like.
Just feeling a little Smurf-like, just bleeding out into her forehead.
And then we had something that we haven't seen. We had vanilla almond cupcakes, which were ice cream sundae shaped. Now, it's a good thing that didn't come back at all in this episode.
No, I didn't see a predictable theme whatsoever.
Repetition. You're going to see a lot of it. And then she did a salted caramel. Because you can't go wrong with a salted caramel.
Well, she did this time, unfortunately. But they looked really pretty, and I loved the little wafers and her what she proposed as her aesthetic. It was very cute.
It was very cute. And I like the fact she talked about the cupcake dress. And I went, "Is this going to be your thing? You'll wear a different dress every week?" And I know what they meant, but I'd hope so. I hope she'll wear the same dress every week. Like, I hope she goes washes it at least.
I'm looking forward to Tart Week.
Oh, that'd be great.
She just tarts it up.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. No, I'm not. I'm actually waiting for Clayton to tart it up personally, but that's me. So Jenny, she's doing half Ironman training competition. She's also a dietitian. She made beetroot red velvet cupcakes. Now, I would have sent her home for that.
Look, they could have only made it better by sprinkling peas on top.
That would have made it perfect for me.
Pea-flavoured icing.
And they looked at it and go, that instantly looks like a wet mixture. And it was. They liked it, by the way, which comes into bearing later on when they get to the judging of the second anyway. And she also made a coffee maple walnut cupcake.
I didn't really hear how that went down.
I don't think they focused on it.
No,
they focused on the other one. All they said was smooth, and moved on.
That was delightful.
That was it. Now, Shannon. Now, Shannon has a really funny nickname.
Which one's Shannon?
Shannon's got a nickname. He got a nickname at work.
Yeah?
Because he makes cakes.
Oh!
He's the cake guy. Fuck, that's original.
I would have liked it better if they gave him a bit of an ironic name. Like, he brings in cake, and so they call him, I don't know.
The tort guy.
The tort guy.
Slice man.
Ghetto guy.
In the ghetto.
Tart dude.
Tart dude.
Something a bit different.
I'm going to ask the question early. Do we think that maybe the repetition in this challenge and the one after it is because this is sort of a bit more of a lower budget version and they wanted to keep the ingredients down to a few? I asked this question because we had lots of maple.
Lots of Rice Krispies.
Lots of Rice Krispies later on. We had a lot of salted caramel and things like that. Lemon meringue appeared a lot. Maple appears 3 times in the first challenge.
Yeah.
Tiramisu cake appears 3 times in the first challenge.
Tinned pineapple.
Tinned pineapple, Dole. That is subtle sponsorship, Dole.
Particularly the bananas with the Dole food sticker on the side.
We would never have known. All the way.
I just like to think that there's some poor assistant out there and they're like, you got to put all the bananas stickers in the one spot for the shot. And like a little to the left.
Adjust the sticker.
Just adjust the sticker. You know it happened.
I don't know. I mean, I think you're a little bit less cynical on this than I am. I kind of feel like they maybe said, we've got a list of this many ingredients, pick something.
Yeah, but you can still, like, most of it was the aesthetic, I think, that came through. So in the cupcake challenge, though, there was, 3 tiramisus, a lot of pineapple.
A lot of maple. So, for example, we had Hannah, who made the maple pecan. No, she made the maple pecan and cardamom, which was a weird flavour, and orange and chocolate. And there was maple bacon from Anna, who also did lemon meringue.
You'll find that's Anna, Princess Anna,
who made a maple bacon and a lemon meringue. And there was another lemon meringue as well. I feel like there were about 20 ingredients.
Yeah.
And they were kind of told, pick something out of this. But I skipped somebody. I skipped Clayton.
Yeah, he's the producer, TV producer.
Yeah, like we talk on this podcast a lot. For anyone who's never listened from New Zealand, hi, I don't think you know what this is. Kia ora. But what I think you're going to learn very fast is we talk a lot on this show about the idea that you don't like seeing people go home early.
And get someone from the cast.
Yeah, our solution is get a fake cast member.
Yeah.
Like, who is a production team member. Well, Clayton felt a lot tonight.
I thought it was him.
Like, I thought he was production member.
Like, he was kind of like, one of the producers, and he's like, look, I'll just go on. I can bang something together.
Until it became apparent. Yeah. Until it became apparent that there was a bit of a vendetta out for one of the bakers.
Do you think the dietitian was just annoying, just going around telling everyone what the caloric intake was and like...
Well, did you see it? We'll get to it when we get to the judging of the last challenge. I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but did you see when they talked about when they talked about Jeff's cake, which was horrible, and I'll break it down in more detail later, they complained about the fact that it was gluten-free. It was for a kid's birthday. Have you seen children nowadays? There's gluten intolerance all over the place.
It was structural integrity free.
It wasn't vomit free, but we'll come back to that. So Clayton made lemon sunflower surprise. I still don't know what the surprise was.
No sunflowers.
And Clayton talked about making the dulce de leche. So I love dulce de leche.
Which hadn't been successful for him at all.
No.
When he tried it twice before.
So
he's like, fuck it.
And it was a banoffee, which I don't really like banoffee, but I do like the dulce de leche, so that was fine. He then burnt it, which looked really bad. So he just went over to the pantry and grabbed a tin that said dulce de leche.
Crack open the tinny.
And he cracked open the tin and used tinned dulce de leche as the main... Now, this becomes a problem later on when we get to the end. So we'll come back to this, but just hold that in your thoughts, hold that in your memories, because I sure as hell did. Larissa then tells us that she's a rustic baker because she lives in a flat with 5 guys.
Now, I can only anticipate that she's like the New Zealand version of the new girl. She's just like the quirky girl living with crazy guys, having hijinks and adventures.
She's studying and flatting.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to point out that in the New Zealand accent, that sounds like flirting. So it sounded like she said she was studying and flirting with the 5 guys in the apartment in Christchurch.
Look, no judgment. You want to be poly, go for it. Made 5 guys? Wow. You could only do that when you're 21, to be honest.
Were they called Mo? Because 5 guys named Mo, that would have been great. I like the idea they're like all jazz singers. That would have been perfect. Pina colada and then a tiramisu. And that was the first of the tiramisu.
Yeah.
Annabelle. Annabelle is the 18-year-old wunderkind, and she really...
I love her.
I love her. She's great. You know why we really love her, though?
Because she did tiramisu.
She got a Nonna story.
Oh, she did. She had the Nonna story. And she had, like, the handwritten little book, and it looked so precious. But I'm like, oh, honey, you need to scan that because those pages are ready to crumble. Like, did you see how fragile they were when she opened it? I'm like, oh! Maybe her mum lent it to her. Like, my mum won't lend me hers because, like the trifle bowl that's broken, I'd probably set it on fire. I'm sorry. I hope Mum never listens to this podcast. I'm having palpitations, like, thinking about this broken traffic
let's
ball
move
right
on.
now. Please do.
Let's move on. So then Annabelle then made the raspberry coconut and a tiramisu again.
Yep.
Which goes back to my theory of we got a couple of ingredients. Because there was another one which was coffee before.
Yep.
And then Jeff, him and his wife are musical theatre enthusiasts.
Now, are his eyes really that blue?
We need to talk about Jeff's eyes.
Or does he, like, have spice? He just needs, like, to be wrapped up. It's like the spice must flow.
The planet Arrakis. Lord Harkonnen.
Jeff is their local baker. Just those eyes, like, it's
He's
like,
Lord Harkonnen's baker.
like, crikey. Like, those are some blue eyes. Like, Frank Sinatra, move over. Like,
It's just...
like
I love
shit.
the idea that they were actually going to send Jeff home, and then he just looked at them, and they've gone, how can we send those eyes home? We can't.
They're fascinating.
I kind of did get lost in the eyes, and then came back and looked at what he'd made, and it was tiramisu and raspberry lemon cupcakes. So, one, tiramisu, the third in a row, and two, and more importantly, he took the raspberry from the cupcake before, the lemon from the one before that, and merged them.
And we ended up with a tiramisu war. I believe
What a
it's
battle.
A tri-tiramisu cup.
What a battle.
It's the tiramisu sevens. Oh no, threes. Trying to make a rugby reference.
It's about as close as we're going to get, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Now, Vanessa took the lime and the coconut, and I think she stirred it all up. Mm-hmm. And then she made a vanilla, but with a raspberry buttercream.
Okay, which one's Vanessa?
The older woman who...
Glacé cherry lady?
Glacé cherry lady.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back to Vanessa in a minute about the glacé cherries.
Which I quite like, thank you very much.
We have the person who I think is going to be my favourite baker as long as they're in there for the series. Mm-hmm. Sonali.
Oh, she's awesome. She's just
You know
a delight.
why? Because she's the only person in the Cabana who appears to have worked out how to win this show.
Colour.
No. In this challenge, it wasn't colour.
Booze.
Every fucking form of booze you could think of was in that
That's
first
right, she did
cupcake.
the Irish
The
cupcake.
luck of the Irish. It wasn't the luck of the Irish. It was the blood alcohol reading of the Irish. There was Baileys. There was, you name it. There was like booze everywhere. Mm-hmm. At which point, Hayley, the host, just sort of gave her a big hug.
I presume she has a shrine to Mary Berry at home.
It's got to be.
You know.
She knows how to win this show.
Yeah.
But then her second one was lemon meringue. Again, going back to this idea of we've got marshmallow. We know they have marshmallows. We found that out later on. and lemons. And when life gives you lemons, you better make a fucking cupcake. So,
Probably a pina colada.
speaking of lemons,
Yeah.
Joel, the
Probably
rugby
lemon
player.
meringue. Oh, Joel. Yeah, yeah. He's a bit of a bloke.
Oh,
I
you know
kinda-
what? I'm a landscaper and I
Yeah.
play rugby. And oh no, I've dropped the cupcake.
I know. I kind of got on board with him, but then when he came to the whole, they don't know I'm a cupcake maker, I'm like, a bit of toxic masculinity creeping in here, but maybe, this is his chance to break through that.
But it's all good because he turned around and he goes, you know what? I'm on the Bake Off, so let's have a good laugh.
Oh, yes.
He's going to be
up.
he's going to be the Joker of the show.
Look at me. I'm a man doing a womanly thing.
Oh.
Even though most of the highest paid bakers in the world are men.
Anyway.
It's ladies' work. Look at me in the pastels.
But Vanessa, speaking
Yes.
of, knowing what they're talking about in the Cabana, Vanessa has the idea down pat.
Yep.
You know what the trick is?
What?
Don't set fire to the paper.
Oh, that's a great.
So she has
really
a torch, and
lesson for
again,
life.
Mary Berry is rolling around in her
up there with
very
throw
luxurious
bacon on
house.
it.
Not a grave, because Mary Berry is very much alive, but she's turning and tossing and turning because all she can hear is this idea that they're using blow torches on the meringue. Mary Berry going nuts right now at home.
What would Mary Berry do? Not like the blowtorch.
She would not like the blowtorch.
But at
she would have
least-
encouraged her to set fire to the paper.
Just burn it all to the ground.
Yeah, give it up.
Start again. Bake it.
You shouldn't even be. Set fire to yourself. Immolation.
Self-immolation.
Not something that's not very
Protest blowtorches in
Something that's not very well
Cabanas.
known about Mary Berry
What?
in favour of immolation.
Jeez.
Big fan.
Mary Berry.
Huge. So,
Non-violent protest is better. Just egg them.
and then we And then we had, more importantly,
Particularly if you're a baker, you're bound to have a whole heap of old ones you don't need.
tons of them lying around.
Yeah.
So Joel dropping the cupcake equaled the drama of this episode.
Oh my.
What was he going to do? And the answer was go one cupcake short.
Okay, if that cupcake was at home, it landed paper on the ground. That's what the paper's there for. The paper is there to prevent germs getting on the cake. So it's landed on the paper.
Pick it up.
Perfectly good to use. The fuck are you doing, Joel?
Just pick it up.
Come on.
All right. So the judging, and I know it feels really early to get to the judging, but that's where we're at. So Stacey, they said it looked like an ice cream, which is what it should look like. So
Yep.
good.
Cute little wafer.
That again, insightful judging there. It looks like it should. Well done.
Yep.
Dean decided that the flavour was too intense, and he said that the salted caramel wasn't real salted caramel. Then Jenny, all they said
It was a salted caramel.
it was
Assault. You touched
me, officer. Sorry. And then
Police 10-7. Watch it, folks.
You definitely need to watch it. And then we got Jenny, and they went, it was smooth with good flavour. So you would think that she'd be okay.
I was waiting for the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
I know. Joel.
Like, how many times can one and two judges say the word smooth?
Oh, God, it was ridiculous.
It was like Jake Peralta and like cool.
Smooth, good flavour. Joel, they said the curd flavour was good. Dean called it Moorish. You know what is Moorish, though?
What?
Moorish Cakes by Monica Cavallo. So Monica from Australian Bake Off. Go and check out her Instagram. Go and check out all of her social medias.
She does some nice unicorn cakes.
She does wonderful cakes. They're amazing.
Keep an eye out for Christmas time when she does all her gingerbreads. They're a bit special.
And she's even done all the cakes on Married at First Sight, and I don't hold that against her. So
look, she's not responsible for the actors. She's the only true, authentic talent on that show.
She's not. Pay attention to the talent. The cakes are amazing. And look, every time they make them remarry somebody else, she gets more work. So Vanessa. Now, what they picked on was the cherry.
Yeah.
And she stops and goes, "Is that a cherry? Why did you put a cherry on top of that?" And I'm like, because it's a fucking cupcake and there's pink frosting on it.
Now, Sue is a little bit
Nuts.
more... Okay, I was going to say, she's a little bit more acerbic than what we're used to in our
bitch.
judges. She's got very clear boundaries of what she likes and what she doesn't like. And
She's
glass
cray-cray.
cherries, like Maggie B's like, oh, I'm not a big fan of pecans, but that's quite tasty.
Well done, Barb. And
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Sue over here is like, you've put a glacé cherry on it, why don't you just take a dump on it? Because that would have been more appealing.
you've put a glacé cherry on it. Your card is marked.
It's like you've grabbed her firstborn, disemboweled it in front of her, and started eating its steaming entrails.
You've basically had your card marked for the rest of the series. Vanessa, this will come back later on. When they're judging a challenge in a couple of weeks' time, she'll go, you know what? Remember week 1? She put a glacé cherry on top of a cupcake.
But, Sue just has this smile that is that just stuck to her face, and everything that comes out through her smile. Like
It's a bit creepy. Sonali, they said the lemon curd was good. There was a really good colour, but it was too sweet. They don't seem to like sweet things, so why did they open with cupcakes?
So what they should have done is just put a whole lemon in a cupcake patty, just put it in front of Dean, who I thought for a time he was just like anything with any level of sweetness, it'd be out the door. Thankfully someone used rhubarb and someone used
Shannon used rhubarb.
Someone else had something citrusy that he was like, oh, that's nice.
Now, the other weird one, though, was Sonali's second cupcake, which was the Irish one. They said it was slightly grainy but good, and then he went, actually, the cupcake's good, it's the icing that's a bit grainy. But they turned around and they said, it looks like an Irish cupcake. Did it look like a fucking potato?
I presume an Irish cupcake is green or looks like it's like Guinness in it.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of booze.
There was a lot of booze.
But it said it looked like an Irish cupcake.
Well, he's baked around the world. He'd know what an Irish cupcake looks
Are you
like.
sure about that?
Well,
he doesn't seem to understand there's sweetness in a cupcake. He seemed to just want to eat raw lemons.
Well, we can't judge.
Maybe he lives in Shelbyville.
Maybe he's keto.
He lives in Shelbyville.
Drinking turnip juice.
They're stuck with the turnip juice because the lemon tree left, and this is his first chance to see a lemon tree since.
That lemon tree was haunted.
It was haunted. That's why they took it away. Let's all sit back and relax with a cool glass of turnip juice. So, Jeff, they said that they were uniform and straight lines on his tiramisu, which is not what you'd see in his final bake. The colours were good and the flavour was great.
Yeah.
Annabelle, they just said there was some beautiful piping and they had a beautiful flavour of buttercream. And he did the whole, that's what a buttercream should be.
Yeah, but, like, her piping was beautiful.
It was.
Those roses on top were just...
But
and the way she was going at it.
Consistency.
I finally found the wunderkind I'm going to mate with Antonio.
That will work, yeah. Larissa.
Mecha Baker.
Now, Larissa.
Because I've told you, we're not thinking big enough when we need to go universal Bake Off and have to verse aliens. Like, we have to be thinking about our breeding scheme.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Yeah, just saying.
Just letting you know that's been decided. Larissa. Now, I need to check my notes because I looked at my notes and I just wrote simple but dry, and I hope that wasn't a description of personality. It wasn't. Larissa's awesome. Larissa's awesome.
She's a fucking mechanical engineer.
I know. They said her cupcakes were simple but dry, and I'm like, she lives with 5 guys.
She's there,
like,
right?
She's fucking batch baking for males who come in and go, the food ready?
Yeah, but they show her, right? Like, just a little snippet of her with this fucking book that to me looks like a friggin', like, I don't know, Nomonecronon or whatever it is. Because it's like all these
it's the
fucking
infinitum
gibberish.
from Skyrim.
Like, it's just got all these symbols and shit. I'm like, oh my god, she knows what that means. She's a fucking wizard.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Anna, they said that the maple flavour was good. Now, they said we need to try the bacon and then never mentioned the bacon again.
No.
Like, we did try the bacon, and then they never mentioned it. Like, they didn't say if it was good, bad, indifferent. They didn't just...
Anna was very secretive. Like, she just didn't want the lovely hostesses to... Hostesses? Oh, God, I've just... what are their names? Haley and Melania. No.
Melania, Madeline,
okay.
Like the cake. Like the cake.
Melania could be hosting it because apparently her bodyguard's standing in for her quite a lot these days.
Yes.
So anyway,
playing a 13-year-old kid going to... No, sorry, that's the other two. Anyway.
Like going to... She's... Okay, Madeline and Haley were trying to get some bacon. They're like, does this smell like bacon? And, the chick, Anna is like, no, there's no bacon here. I'm like, well, this doesn't seem playful. She actually seems serious. Like, she will cut you if you go near her bacon.
I would. Turns out brown on brown, not a thing.
No.
Forget the fact that it had maple bacon in it.
And it was probably very delicious.
And look, they said that the maple flavour was good but needed more colour. The only criticism was, why is it brown? And my answer is, it's fucking maple and it's brown. It's bacon that has been glazed in the oven. What colour do you want it to go?
What do you want it to do? Like, fucking put...
Cover it in buttercream? Then you would have complained it was too sweet.
Yeah. Like, dyed it. Hundreds and thousands.
Apparently. Did she make those hundreds and thousands? Real question.
Yeah.
Anyway, Clayton.
Did she make that bacon herself?
Now, Clayton.
Just going out to slaughter
slaughtered the pig herself, yeah. Clayton. Now, they didn't criticise the fact that he used Dolce de Leche from a can.
They mentioned it.
They said, is this from a can? He went, yeah, it didn't work, so I used it from a can. They went, oh, that's okay, because your piping's incredible.
Good.
Interesting.
Handy.
Hannah's, they said, had a bit of excitement because it had shards on top of it. Sue, if that's what qualifies for excitement in your world, we have issues. Again, slightly grainy icing.
I wonder if she's been out to a bar in Broken Hill where a drag queen's just come
Not
across.
in Broken Hill. Shannon, they said, had fresh flavours, and that's because he used rhubarb. And so it was something a bit different. So then we have an ad break where they're talking it all up, and they come back. And then we
get... Cake Guy.
Yes, Cake Guy, yes.
Okay.
And so then we get what feels like, and I think a couple of people, Mike commented on it online, I know that much, he goes, did I just have a massive blackout and miss the technical?
No.
No, there was no technical. 2 challenges. Now,
like the Matrix, there is no spoon, no technical.
Now, they're talking about who's in trouble and who's possibly going home and who's not. And the problem, as far as I'm concerned, is it felt really early and they had nothing to base it off. So what they were talking about as a result is Vanessa put cherries on a cupcake, Anna's were brown. they're in trouble. They really need to impress us with the showstopper.
Yeah.
Look, I know we often joke that the judges don't seem to think that the technical matters. The technical fucking matters, people.
Because it gives a bit of brain space between the first bake and the last bake. So there's a bit more zhuzh there when there's 3 bakes going on.
Well, I put a poll out.
Did you?
So I used a Twitter poll.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about something else.
And you've
Hello, Mrs. Buchanan.
Right. Hi, Mum. Anyway, so I put out a question. Does this show need a technical?
It's getting one. Everyone, 100%.
100% of people who voted, and the votes were at least in double digits, so, it wasn't like 3 people. The votes were at least in double digits. Everybody went, yeah, it needs a technical. It's really badly missing a technical.
So what it looks like is that they're doing an episode per day. So they're only doing the 2 bakes because it's an episode per day. So obviously they don't have a lot of money, I guess.
Well, we talked about the idea of said they're using similar ingredients.
Now, can we just take a moment to really acknowledge the product placements?
Wow.
Every time you turn around.
Okay, so they were clearly being sponsored, obviously, by Dole.
Yeah, and the icing sugar company.
Yeah, and the flour company got their bags placed in prime position as well.
Yes. Just on the benches.
Notice how the Dolce de Leche company wasn't, because they got a homemade label on the tin.
Yes.
And also, I'm pretty sure they're sponsored by one of the electronics companies, because that fridge is a centerpiece.
And the chocolate, did you see the 3 types of New Zealand chocolate button things?
I did. They featured those, and also K-Mix, Kenwood.
Yeah.
Because they really worked hard to make sure they got the K-Mix logo in on all their mixes. Now, again, we're not against this because you've got to pay for the show.
Exactly.
But, it was... I mean, look, we joke about this all the time because Australia has Devondale, # you ought to be congratulated. But Devondale is, and really obviously, and to the point last season when they did the free from challenge with no butter, and then the next week had to spend the first 15 minutes saying, how good is butter?
Butter raining from the top of the tent.
Butter's amazing. You can do lots of things with butter, you know.
Just melon cloud, rolling around in butter.
Well, I actually did that cut to, of all people, Matt and Maggie, to talk about butter halfway through the challenge. It was weird. Yeah. But, at least, with the rest of them... it felt like with the Dole pineapple in particular, they had one shot of Dole pineapple being used on the bench.
Yeah.
And they kept going back to the same shot. Rewatch it, people. Right, rewatch it. I will guarantee you that shot of the Dole pineapple is the same shot.
Yeah.
I don't think they even changed shot. They just recycled the footage.
My hope is that this turns out to be a good little winner for New Zealand. And it's picked up here in Australia and we all love it. And then next year, we get a full-blown bake-off.
We get 3 challenges a week.
We get a happy, clappy 3 challenge, less acerbic Sue.
Because I kind of suspect that the grand final will be 3 challenges. Because they said they're doing 21 bakes in 10 weeks.
Yeah.
That would indicate to me the final challenge is 3, not 2. So that would indicate they're going to do a showstopper, technical, and the signature. They'll do all 3.
Yeah.
All right, so what they decided to do for the showstopper was something we've never seen before in the first episode of a Bake Off show. Kids' birthday cakes.
Now, this did pose the question, did they have a New Zealand version of the Australian Women's Weekly kids' cake book? Because, I'm thinking from Jenny's Bake that possibly...
I think definitely they had it over there.
And if they don't, then Jenny needs to be submitting that igloo cake for one.
100%.
That's awesome.
So...
Little Pingu.
In quotes, in capital letters, I literally just have under this challenge, does anyone have a fucking original idea?
Well, it was very...
Mum's net.
It kind of varied. There's a lot of people who were trying to put...
There were a couple of brilliant ones. We'll talk about Annabelle in a minute.
Okay. But there was a lot of people who were going for flavours that were kind of, very mature, whose concepts... like the smashed ice cream concept, that was everywhere.
It turns out that you could have actually stayed in the show by simply just making it colourful.
Yeah.
Because when Sue was talking about this idea of colours, of children's cake, what she meant to say was, make it a fucking colour.
Yeah.
Because like when they're talking about what they're going to make for the cake, and Jenny goes, "I'm going to make an igloo with like penguins." And she goes, "Oh, a white cake. Children don't like white." And I'm like, she's already decided.
You know what it is? It's PC gone mad.
Oh, it's
Political.
nuts.
Can't even have a white cake these days.
So Larissa decided she was making a rabbit's garden, and there was a hummingbird cake on the bottom. And what I loved about Larissa was she was putting poppy seeds in, and she goes, "There's no measurement. It literally just says add poppy seeds." So she's just randomly pouring poppy seeds into the container. Let's talk Annabelle.
Yes.
That bee cake.
And I think it was awesome. She actually went to a child and she said, "What should I make?" And they said a buzzy bee. And she's like, "All right, I'll make a buzzy bee cake."
I like that. I found it amusing the way she told the story because it sounded like she was going down this path of a really funny anecdote.
You know.
And the funny anecdote was, I asked the child and they said, "Make a buzzy bee cake." So I am. Sometimes we laugh.
It is in old country. We
There
have
is
joke.
humour.
There is humor. There is children.
Humour and joke.
And they're like bees. You know, the little things that go around pollinating plants.
Now, Stacey decided to make, I think what I termed a fucking ice cream drip.
Yeah.
We have seen this cake lots of times.
But her execution was pretty fucking good. The rainbow cake was awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, the rainbow cake itself was awesome.
Yeah, but it's a rainbow cake. Like, it's a rainbow cake. It's a vanilla cake with coloured levels. That's...
Yeah.
Look, I on one hand, I get the shits with the fact that the judge turned around and said kids don't like a white cake. And at the same time, a plain vanilla cake that's colourful is all the children will love it.
And they will, because she said, "I've made this before." Now, she's smart, she's playing it safe, she's going to get through the first episode. Boom. Done.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Jeff was making spheres, and it was the only thing that I could identify on his cake by the end. He called it a tantrum cake. I called it vomit. It looked like he'd thrown up all over it.
It was a bold choice to mix bright pink with bright green. He was one of the ones that did go for a very mature...
Yeah, like it was an adult. It was an adult cake.
He kind of reminds me of Fraser Crane. like no.
What would Frederick like? Tickets to the opera.
Yes, I know. His favourite dessert of all time was served at blah blah blah. What if I turn it into a cake?
And then what we'll do is we'll take him to the Natural History Museum. What would any little boy want? So, speaking of what any little boy would want, apparently we found out the answer was ice cream cakes. With Rice Krispies. Now, I'm thinking they've seen a bit too much Cake Boss.
Yeah, but then they said Rice Krispies are a New Zealand favourite.
Well, they are, but they then also whinged about the Rice Krispies when they were tasting it.
Yeah. See, there wasn't just enough chocolate crackle action for my liking.
No, well, again, I would have actually been okay with chocolate crackles. Now...
I wonder if you could serve that as one great big chocolate crackle.
Nice crackle.
Nice crackle.
Then, again, because we've got drama going on in there, the only drama we've got so far is people dropping cakes. So Larissa, rather than explaining it all, dropped a cake. Now, Dean came over and talked to her about the cake and was talking about, she goes, well, maybe I can get away without it. And then he was doing one of two things. He had his hands up and was like opening and closing them. So either he's measuring the height of the cake or he's talking about a crocodile's behind her. It could have been either. I think it was height.
Bob and Pingu were over there on a holiday at the resort.
Was Terry over there?
Yeah, I think so. Terry,
cool. Terry was
there with the kids.
Hey, Terry, if you're listening.
Checking out. They were all in the proving drawers because they weren't being used. Just.
But I couldn't work out if he was being a crocodile or talking about how high the cake was. Again, the tantrum cake kept on. Every time they cut back, it got worse. It looked more and more like a crime scene.
He had skewers in it.
It wasn't helping. And the buttercream...
No, it wasn't buttercream. It was the curd. It was a passion fruit curd that wasn't setting. Which is
no, but then he was trying to use buttercream around the outside to make it look neat, and it just kept getting worse.
Stop!
It's already dead, and it was falling apart. And then when he finished it, it looked like vomit. There was like, it wasn't organised. It was dripping off everywhere.
And he honestly thought he was going home on that.
But the judges seemed to love the idea and went, it looks like a tantrum. Kids are going to love it.
It's kind of like he got the box with the barbecue on the front, got a bit cranky with it.
He made a barn.
But it really is like that whole thing. And then these art critics have come along and go, oh my God, that's just magnificent art.
What I love is apparently the children
on the cake.
children will really love a cake that looks like someone threw up all over it, but they won't like fucking penguins in front of an igloo.
No, or lollies everywhere.
Or lollies in the cake. All right. So Anna made an ombre with a surprise.
Top secret surprise. Couldn't tell anyone. Again, she'd cut you. Go near her bacon, you're dead. Go near her hundreds of... surprise.
Surprise.
You're dead. She did come from Serbia.
And didn't they think it was quite the surprise? I thought Sue was going to have a mini orgasm. Cut the cake. Oh my God, it's hundreds and thousands.
No, it's a fussy neck.
Fussy neck, do it. But if you've never seen Liza Minnelli turns off a lamp, you don't get
You
that.
need to do it.
And go watch it on YouTube. So I absolutely loved the igloo.
It was gorgeous.
It was fucking beautiful.
I do see what they mean. I didn't realise it was stuffed with lollies. I think it could have been a bit more spectacular on the inside, and then maybe she'd have had it.
But
then again, she's a dietitian.
But we'll come back to the criticism of it in a moment.
I don't know what that says. I mean, I refer to dietitians all the time for my work for my job, and they do a bang up job. Like this whole thing of like they're just here to help people eat healthy is bullshit.
No, they're not.
I mean, they are technically, but like they do a lot more than helping people lose weight, which is even most dietitians are not about that.
No.
So
Again, so now Joel decided to make a volcano cake. So this is the exact dialogue that happened on TV with my little bit at the end. So Joel goes, I'm making a volcano cake. And Dean goes, so where did you get the idea from? And I yell at the screen, Marcus and Michelle.
That said, I've been to New Zealand. You fucking go down the road for like some milk. You're walking over a volcano.
Now what I want to point out is the drawing of the volcano cake looked like a pot plant that was upside down. Marcus and Michelle both had eruptions on theirs, including, as Maggie Beer pointed out, all of the villagers being killed. And all Joel did was put some dry ice inside it and use sugar for the outside to make it look a little bit like there was lava coming down.
But it was a very nice chocolate cake, apparently. Best chocolate cake
Dean's ever had. I don't know if he meant today or ever. I would assume
just
today,
here in the resort.
Just here in the cabana of the resort.
Because when you go into the resort, they're just defrosting Sara Lee.
Exactly.
So, the slab cakes.
Kristie, everybody's got to like something. Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee. Now, Clayton, at this point, I'm not going to lie, at this point of the episode, we were starting to get a little bit cynical. And then Clayton appeared.
Oh, hallelujah, Clayton.
If there's one thing you need to perk up an episode, it's bragging about the best playground in New Zealand.
And where was it? Waganui?
I have no idea.
Oh, I feel terrible because I just can't remember the place names, but it was beautiful. And it really was. This fucking dinosaur slide.
It was a dinosaur slide cake. And it looked fucking amazing.
We need to go to this playground.
We really do.
Yeah.
And do we have to sing like Madonna?
Yes.
This used to be my
but it wasn't.
playground.
This used to be Clayton's playground.
And then he made a dinosaur cake.
Rice Krispies for its head.
And the base. And so much icing. Anyway, so Larissa decided after all this, I don't know what she'd been doing in the meantime, but she suddenly decided that she was going to use the broken cake as the base, because who's going to know? Apparently not the judges, it turns out.
No.
Think about this. She served floor cake.
No, she didn't serve floor. Wasn't it just the offcuts from the other cake?
She served floor cake.
Oh my.
And the judges went, great.
Delicious.
That was wonderful.
Yes, what's the floor cake? Igloo cake.
Igloo cake apparently much worse than floor cake. You know what's better though?
mermaid cake.
Sonali making really small animals.
Oh, that
Those
was
were
adorbs.
so cute.
Little octopi.
And Hannah then made the mermaid cake.
Oh,
Now
my face.
you turned on the mermaid cake because you started off going, I don't know about this, and then you're like, actually, yes, I do. That's amazing.
Because at first in the sketch it looked like there was just a tail sticking out, and I'm like, oh, it's such a fucking cop out.
Can I point out
all the time the little mermaid cupcakes that you see with just a fish
little
tail.
tail.
How do you know it's a mermaid? The head's not there. That's the whole point of a mermaid. Is it's half fish and half person. Now, if you just have the tail sticking out, you could just say it's a fucking sardine cake. Oh, look at my snapper cake. Oh, look at my barramundi cake. It's just
Don't bring
not
up
a
the idea.
fucking mermaid.
Don't bring up the idea of a fish cake. You'll trigger somebody in Canada.
Okay. And then when it was like I saw it
looked
complete,
amazing.
she had her head. She was diving through the cake. Loved it, particularly the pearlescent. Oh,
That was beautiful.
And it's so cute that her daughter calls raspberries girls and berries because I presume she's like can't be boys and berries.
Yeah, so the girls' berries.
So it's a girls and berry.
So, and then from the mermaid cake, Vanessa made a dildo. I mean, a unicorn horn. And one of the things, so we'll talk about the host a little bit here because I know Leah absolutely loved them. And I know that Leah does have, she really in particular likes Madeline from her other work, and as she should. But I kind of felt, and this is not a massive insult, but I felt that they'd been shown Mel and Claire and sort of indicated you might want to do something similar. Now, I don't think that's a bad thing because I think you want to aim for the best. And I still maintain Mel and Claire are the best. I feel like they're going to have to settle into their normal groove.
Yeah.
And it felt a little bit to me like this was not an act, but sort of they were playing a bit more of a role tonight.
Yeah, they were really filled. There was a lot of nervous energy, a lot of excitement, and it came through. So I'm hoping it will they will find their own. Because if you go back and look at the earlier episodes with Mel and Claire, that was still finding.
They had to find their groove.
So I'm hoping to see it because these two are obviously talented women.
Because what concerned me was that, they tried to do the innuendo with Vanessa about the dildo, and it just felt so stilted that they basically both had to say what it was.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to hint at it, but the hinting was not brilliant.
No.
And it was so, there's a great comedic moment there, and it it missed.
It's like, I know I can do something about that. I know Bake Off's known for innuendo.
How do I do it?
It was just a little off.
So, see, if that was Mel, you would have got a roll of the eyes and a bit of a, Vanessa.
Oh, making a unicorn cake, are we? Oh, I see. One for the mummies, is it?
Yes, that's a bit of the one for the mummies there. Look at the camera, raise the eyebrows.
Yeah.
Give her a bit of a look, off we go. Now, the interesting fact that came out about Vanessa after, of course, she made this dildo, horn, is that she's never lost a game of chess.
I think that's because her husband plays checkers.
I think so too, for the look of it. Yeah. He seemed stunned. She moved a piece and went checkmate. He went, whoa! Like he maybe that was her first ever game.
Oh no!
Maybe that's why she's never lost a game of chess. She's only ever played once. He won. Whoa!
It's the one game, the one chess game they've been playing for fucking years.
If she'd lost it, the VO would have been, she's never won, but she's really trying. One of these days she'll win. I thought the unicorn cake, to be honest, was a bit basic. We've seen it a lot. It is a favourite of mummy bloggers worldwide. It is I don't really know what to make for my child's birthday, so I'll stick a horn on a cake.
Did you know now you don't even need to make the actual unicorn horn out of fondant?
Nope.
You can purchase a little cake topper with a unicorn horn.
That's how made they are.
And again, plethora of mythical creatures out here. There, like Noel pointed out last week. Where are the centaurs?
Pegasus.
Where are the minotaurs? Pegasus, gargoyles, fucking Medusa. Like, imagine that, a cake with like a hideous face on it and snakes coming out. What's not to like about that?
There's everything. A child would love that cake.
You know, like,
love it.
What about a bunyip birthday cake, or fucking, like Mothman? There's a Mothra.
Godzilla and Mothra. Mothra.
Just stomping through.
You know who they're going to be chased by?
Who?
Mecha Robert Smith.
Ah, yes.
Mecha Smith. So the last thing they did was they showed Jeff and his cake. Jeff looked gutted, and it looked like the contents of that guttedness had found its way all over the cake. So
With gangrene.
Larissa, they simply said, this is an adult cake with adult flavours. And then moved
an
past.
adult unicorn.
They didn't worry.
Oh, no.
They didn't worry about the fact that half the cake had been dropped on the floor. Shannon, they said the layers were interesting. A little bit of inconsistency, but the cake itself was moist. By the way, that was enough to put Shannon in trouble.
Yeah.
Sonali, they said there was lots of personality. The colours are wonderful. And then the next sentence, and I love Sonali, but the next sentence confused me.
Yeah.
They talked a lot about adult flavours, and they went, the blueberry and lime seemed a bit unusual, but it works. You name me a child who's going, you know what sort of cake I want? Blueberry and lime.
Yeah, but these days kids eat blueberries like lollies because mummies and daddies aren't allowed to give their kids actual lollies. So they just sit
Well,
there
the rest of the flavours then that were told to be
blueberries.
adult flavours, there was no booze involved, like
And I
all those
presume
flavours.
Limes are just other kid lollies, just slice them up and isn't that sourness delightful?
Larissa was also putting, again, poppy seeds and making a
Suck
cake.
on that sourness. You're not going to get
Suck on that sourness.
sugar overload here.
You know what they should have done?
What?
A lemon.
Yes, sorry. Plenty of lemons.
Just a lemon. Now, Joel, they said
In a
it
cake
looks
patty.
good and it was the best chocolate cake that Dean's had. Again, he didn't clarify when it was the best cake he'd ever had. They said that Vanessa's had beautiful colours. It looked moist, and they said that it had the child's raspberry.
Which I presume is Coddy's cordial.
Yeah, I don't quite know what the child's raspberry flavour is. Coddy's cordial, maybe.
Yeah.
Icy pole.
Oh, yeah. I spelled raspberry flavour. Oh, that's
Hubba
insane.
bubba.
Oh, the fucking, the 4-stick ice sticks.
Yes, those
What's
four
it called?
ones.
Ice-
The green, red, orange,
and
red,
cola.
and cola, or
Oh, that's
yellow.
right, with lime. Yeah.
Yeah, or yellow, depending on them. Yeah, those old, the cheap ices. Yes,
Yeah.
that's got to be the raspberry flavour they're talking
Yeah.
about. Child's raspberry.
Nice.
Sounds like a colour that Bob Ross would paint with.
And there's a bit of Thalto yellow.
Yeah, all those colours. Van Dyke brown.
Van Dyke brown.
Don't use Van Dyke brown in the Cabana.
No.
They don't like brown.
No brown on brown. You've got to mix it with some child's raspberry.
Annabelle, the bee was impressive.
Oh, my God.
The layers looked incredible, and they loved the flavour.
And everything just looked effortless.
It was amazing. It was by far and away the best cake.
She
in
just
there.
comes up with these two perfectly shaped, sugar work wings. In they go after doing all this piping.
So then Anna had the hundreds and thousands with a surprise.
Ooh, fairy bread cake.
My comment afterwards was simply, it's fun because of that. Now, they didn't ask her if she made the hundreds and thousands.
No.
They did, however, when they got to Jenny, ask her if she made the icing or the lollies or the marshmallow. And she said no to all of that. And then Sue goes, I'm very disappointed. You should have made it yourself. Meanwhile, Clayton is sitting up the back going, fucking caramel.
He's like, I only not made one thing, though. She didn't not
It's
make
not like it was a central element or anything. Hannah's, they said, looked amazing and the flavour was good. Stacey, they said, was a nice eating cake as opposed to
wipe your bum cake.
a whack your bum cake, yeah. Now, Clayton's, they said, and this is where we thought Clayton was going home, because they said it was like carving a Sunday roast. There was too much buttercream, but visually appealing.
Yeah, too much marshmallow in your Rice Krispie.
Too much Rice Krispie, too much marshmallow in your Rice Krispie, too
Which
much
made it
buttercream.
soggy.
Now,
one
not a
likes a soggy
single,
Krispie.
not a single thing they said about Clayton's was right.
No, it was.
And yet, because it looked visually appealing, and she didn't make marshmallows,
Look, she should have just farted glitter on her.
would have worked.
Like, just have gay Eskimos, all right?
And Jeff, they said,
gay Inuit people. Sorry, I do
Yes.
apologise using Eskimo. Gay Inuits, just rainbow flag the shit up out of that igloo,
would have worked perfectly.
and we're good. Just gay penguins who actually don't live where there's like igloos.
No, they live in the other part of the world. But anyway, if they
Good enough for Pingu.
If they decided to send her home on the basis of the fact that she got the penguins wrong in terms of the hemisphere, I'm all for that.
Yeah. We want factual imagination.
Factual Pingu.
We don't want any just unfactual unicorns.
Look, again, the unicorn was sound, but we want factual Pingu.
Yeah, like, which hemisphere is this? North, south? I'm confused. How do you expect a child to engage with an igloo cake?
You know what they didn't show?
What?
They didn't show if the Pingu, I'm calling him Pingu from here on in, was able to, like, take an entire fish and, like, eat everything and just leave the bones and throw it out. And they didn't show if Pingu could balance a ball on his nose.
Or if he was upset because his little brother was born. Or
That was a little sister.
Yeah,
Gotta be.
sister.
Factual Pingu. Look,
We need to keep it authentic.
if they sent her home for not being factual Pingu,
Authenticity.
like, the unicorn, we know that unicorns looked like a cake, all right? We know they had an edible creamy centre.
And they all just had closed eyes that were this perfect little sunny eye
Paleontologists will tell you their horn looks like a dildo.
with very well-defined eyelashes.
100%. We all know that mermaids look exactly like that, okay?
Yeah,
but that was not factual Pingu.
I mean, if you wanted a factual mermaid cake, you'd have them there just feasting on the bones of sailors, just dragging them down into the depths of the cake. Like, you'd cut open the cake.
You would have had a manatee.
No. You'd cut open the cake, right? And the mermaid would be there, like, diving into it, but she'd have this sailor that's, like, struggling to get up, but she's, like, dragging him to his death. And at the bottom would just be the bones of sailors, like, just littering the floor of the cake.
Sorry, I've just got this idea of somebody making a diorama of the Odyssey. And the whole bench is nothing but the story of Odysseus trying to get home.
Just this
complete
guy.
with the sirens dragging him to the rock.
Just he's bound there to the mast, you know.
And it all moves.
It does.
How long did you have to do this? 45 minutes. Did you make Odysseus? Yes, I did.
Well done.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. But no, factual Pingu. All right, Jeff.
He's his homeland, you think?
Now, Jeff, you know why they like Jeff's cake? Again, he called it a tantrum cake, and it looked like someone had thrown a tantrum. Apparently, it looked like a child's playground. I want to know what fucking child's playground you go to, Sue.
I think we've found Sue's problem. She didn't have a childhood. If that's what she thinks a child's playground is,
Looks like it had been burnt.
oh, this used to be her playground.
Oh, definitely. Definitely her childhood dream. And they also said that his flavours were a grown-up flavoured cake. So it was grown-up flavoured, and it looked like vomit.
So do you think the cake was intended for Trump then? It's grown-up flavours.
Tantrum cake.
Tantrum
Perfect.
cake.
They then said that the people at risk were Jeff, Shannon, and Jenny. And look, Sue made it really clear at the start of the final challenge what she wanted.
Yeah.
And she got what she wanted. First of all, Annabelle was the star baker, and there is no doubt about that.
Yep.
That was thoroughly deserved. Then they said that going home was Jenny, and everybody looked around and went, really?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, we're not saying like really in terms of everyone looking at each other confused. No, they actually said, really?
Yeah.
And then when they cut to her, she couldn't hide her disappointment. She didn't go, oh, well, it was my time, I had fun. She goes, bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
I don't quite get it. I feel like, again, the technical missing is more impactful than I think a lot of people anticipated.
And the first challenge was very, it just felt like to be dismissed. Like, no matter, like Jeff, I could understand him staying because his first challenge is very good. His tiramisu is very good. But
it didn't seem to count because first they loved the beetroot one.
Yeah.
They loved her beetroot red velvet. They kept on saying the word smooth. Rob Thomas appeared. We talked about it.
Maybe smooth is Kiwi for like a slang term for shit.
Let us know.
Oh, that's real smooth.
Let us know. Smooth, bro. Smooth, bro.
Don't call me
Choice.
smooth. I want to be choice.
So that's week one of a very interesting series of Bake Off.
I'm really enjoying it.
It's different. It's an
but
interesting
still nice.
Now part of the reason why it's a bit different is I don't know if anyone noticed, but in the production at the end, because we're nerds and notice this stuff, it's not a Love Productions production.
No,
it's a BBC Australia production
and Warner Brothers. So it's the format, but the format light. Yeah.
It's interesting. Look, there are some positives in it, I think. I'll be interested to see how we go next week with a technical and when you go with a technical and you go with a signature. I think it might feel like it's missing something.
I do feel like we've downloaded the free version of the app.
Yeah, and they want you to pay for the extra.
For the extra. It's like, oh, but is it worth the $60? Like, it's just...
I mean, are we predicting that the staff member goes home next week? That probably Clayton's going because he's the staff member?
Quite possibly.
I don't know. I
don't know.
I think it might determine who Sue doesn't like that morning.
Which cornflakes did someone piss in? You know?
And I have absolutely no read on Dean whatsoever.
No.
He doesn't seem like he knows much of anything, in all honesty.
I'm still working him out.
I don't know.
I think what threw me off is that usually we're used to a bit of sweetness and light. Like, even with Prue and Paul, like, in those first few episodes, there's a bit of sweetness and light there. And their first 3 critiques of the first 3 bakes, very negative.
Yeah, the critiques of the first 2 were just, not.
And you can usually tell, like, for example, like, Paul and Prue, when the first bakes come up in the first few weeks, they're like, they won't tell you what's shit about it. They kind of go, that's really good icing, which is code for the rest of it shit.
And in fact, everyone whinged this year that Paul Hollywood gave out too many handshakes.
Yeah. So.
But we'll see what happens in week 2. Now, week 2, as I said, has got 2 challenges, no showstopper. This will be interesting. We'll see what happens. And again, if you find any social media presence for these people, please let us know.
Yeah, it'd be good to tweet out to
I've
them.
checked out all the accounts, their Instagram account. Their Instagram account exists, but it's locked, and there's no Instagram pictures of it.
Oh,
so that's weird. There's no Twitter. Guys, get a media presence. So that's your lot for this week, and until next week, I'm still Chris,
and I'm still Kristie.
We'll catch you all then.
Choice, bro.